Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. The fist-sized Barbata on Luo Feng's shoulder stared wide-eyed, shocked. The virtual universe company sure is the virtual universe company. This is like a slap to the face. Luo Feng shook his head and forced a smile. They are not forcing Blood Demon Emperor, they are forcing me. The details of the mail were: third level mission. Blood Demon Emperor controls the entire Du Tuor starfield, with hundreds of undyings under him. Even though he hasn't done anything over the limit, there are a few of his underlings that have. Currently, we have confirmed 21 of them. There are 21 undyings and 19 sector lords. They are: Abdullah, undying, given the Kai-Tai galaxy as territory. He had once massacred all life on a few hundred planets in the galaxy, even keeping a large amount of them in his god country. Yisuo, undying. Redi, sector lord. Aoku Fei, sector lord, he had once gathered over 10 billion young ladies and organized the craziest blood demon ceremony, over 10 billion of them becoming a sea of blood. He also. Mission, the virtual universe company has already sent the order to Blood Demon Emperor to capture these 21 alive, and he has already locked them up within Blood Demon Planet. Luo Feng, you are to swiftly head over there, and judge the 21 of them. The choices are: death, jail for 1,000,000 years, jail for 100 years, innocent. The fates of these 21 are in your hands. You can judge them in whatever way you want. You control whether they live or die. Reminder, when you reach Blood Demon Planet, you have to open the synchronized broadcast, and close it only after the judgments are complete. Within the study, Luo Feng couldn't help but force a smile. He had known that the highest point mission wouldn't be that simple. The first and second levels didn't pose any difficulty at all to him, and no danger was present. However, this third level, the virtual universe company was absurd, ordering Blood Demon Emperor to capture the 21 people. Even though he was a member of the Hong Alliance, the power of the virtual universe company was on another level altogether. How could the little Blood Demon Emperor go against them? Naturally, he could only obediently capture the 21. However, the judgment and the fate of these 21, they actually let Luo Feng do it, having to personally head over to Blood Demon Planet. Blood Demon Planet. That was Blood Demon Emperor's nest. He would naturally meet Blood Demon Emperor himself, and execute his judgment before him. Wasn't this a blatant slap in the face? The heavier the sentence, the more it would invoke Blood Demon Emperor's hate. Luo Feng shook his head. After all, everything is decided by me, and if I give a light sentence, it would go against my character. They are really forcing me. The virtual universe company has ordered Blood Demon Emperor to do so. He must be enraged, and yet at the same time, he cannot disobey the direct orders. Luo Feng forced a smile. From the way he did things, it was obvious that the Blood Demon Emperor wasn't a kind person. Now, for no reason whatsoever, he had to go offend a great emperor-level undying? On that mineral planet. In mid-air, Luo Feng and Dylan along with the winged old man stood in space and chatted. The old man smiled. Your Majesty Luo Feng, have you seen the third-level mission? Chem. Luo Feng nodded and revealed a sense of helplessness. Ha. The old man laughed at the scene. Relax, even though that Blood Demon Planet is his nest, he would never ever dare touch you, unless he's looking to die. Even if he doesn't dare now, what about the future? Luo Feng shook his head. Then that'll depend on your choice. A lighter punishment will make it so that he will remember your mercy. The old man muttered. All right, we won't say any more. Please follow me towards Blood Demon Planet. Chem. Luo Feng wasn't in a good mood. He nodded and kept the Yunmo planet ship. He flew with Dylan into the black ship from the virtual universe company and headed to Blood Demon Planet. Blood Demon Planet, it was the core of the entire Du Tuor starfield. Over 10,000 galaxies holding their blood demon trials to absorb more elites that would be sent here, large amounts of blood demon soldiers, be it sector lords or undying, they were all here. Also, the powerful Blood Demon Emperor himself stayed here. It was truly a demon hole. They are going overboard. The virtual universe company is simply bullying me. His voice resounded throughout the entire Blood Demon Palace. Everyone within shuddered. Within the palace, the god dressed in red armor with a helmet was raging. Beside him, 18 undyings all acted respectfully. If they want to catch my underlings, just do it. Yet they force me to do it myself, capturing Abdullah and the other 20. His eyes burned with flames of rage. They want to sentence my people and still force me to do it personally. They even sent people to disrupt my blood demon trial earlier. They seriously do not even bother showing me any respect. The 18 undyings had expressions of righteousness, within however they were thinking. Disrespecting Blood Demon Emperor? What a joke. Why would the virtual universe company even bother with him? It was such a huge power. Blood Demon Emperor was but a little thing compared to them. Seriously overboard. He raged even more. I've told you all before, when I give you territories and galaxies to handle, It's up to you how you do it, but always remember the limit. He turned to look at the 18 undyings beside him. Now you see, Abdullah and Yisuo have got it coming to them. You all better remember this. We will remember. The 18 undyings bowed respectfully. Lord. One of the shorted undyings said respectfully. Didn't the order of the Virtual Universe Company also say that it will send a Primal Region member Luo Feng over to do the judgments, and that all the sentences will be dealt by him? A small domain lord, at least with your pressure, he wouldn't dare offend you. When the time comes, he may even let them go off scot-free. Chem. Blood Demon Emperor said solemnly. Sounds right, that little punk wouldn't dare offend me. No matter what, since Abdullah and the others are all my underlings, I must do my best to keep their lives. For this lone warrior, his underlings were all precious to him. When others came to seek shelter, he naturally had to take up the responsibility of a boss. The 2 undyings had come to him earlier to seek help. The least he could do was to protect their lives. Even though the undyings about him didn't dare say it, they weren't that blind to the situation. If they fell, Blood Demon Emperor's interior cohesiveness would naturally fall. 6 days later, a black ship appeared in the galaxy outside Blood Demon Planet. Your Majesty Luo Feng, look, that's Blood Demon Planet. The winged old man pointed and said. Luo Feng glanced over. There floated a completely blood-red planet. Just seeing it up close was enough to make one shudder. Who? The ship swiftly flew towards the planet. As it drew closer, one could see the huge mountain-sized constructs. The entire surface of the planet was void of any technology. These constructs were all made like mountains, and the interior was where the network was. Su. Tearing past the atmosphere, the ship headed straight towards the most majestic palace. Your Majesty Luo Feng, that is Blood Demon Palace. The winged old man pointed far ahead at the most majestic palace. Surrounding it were many little palaces, even the small ones were a few kilometers in area, many of them were surrounding the huge one. In front of the huge palace was a huge plaza measuring tens of kilometers, and large amounts of warriors gathered there. With just a glance, there were at least 1,000 people here, and the weakest being Sector Lord. They were led by a red-armored god. His brutal bloodthirst energy was felt by Luo Feng even through the ship. Who? The ship descended and landed in the plaza. The cabin door opened. The winged old man, Luo Feng, and Dylan along with 2 others came out. Greetings, Blood Demon Emperor. The white-winged man bowed slightly, after which he introduced, this is our Virtual Universe Company Primal Region Genius, His Majesty Luo Feng. Luo Feng bowed too, showing respect to his elder while observing his actions. Even though Blood Demon Emperor had controlled his aura enough not to let Luo Feng feel the pressure, his blood-red armor body itself gave off a weak aura, almost like an endless blood ocean. He wore his helmet, hence making it hard to see his expressions. You are Luo Feng? Blood Demon Emperor laughed. True Yang Emperor has indeed taught an exceptional student. I heard not long ago you disrupted my Blood Demon trial in the Wei Li Galaxy. Luo Feng was stunned, saying, yes. Haha, no need to explain. Blood Demon Emperor waved his hand. One galaxy's Blood Demon trail means nothing. Over a span of trillion years, we've held it in over 10,000 galaxies over and over. Losing one to even 10 times means nothing. At different levels, one's perspective was different. To Blood Demon Emperor, 1 to 10 times of the trails was indeed nothing. However, to his underlings, every one of them was an extremely important matter. How could they be careless? This Blood Demon Emperor seems straightforward. Luo Feng noticed as he thought. However, he was forced to capture 21 of his underlings personally, with 2 of them being undying. Anyone with any temper wouldn't be happy about that. He may not care about the Blood Demon trials, but my disruption of the trial was a slap to his face. If he said he didn't care about my disruption, that would be a lie. He thought so within. On the surface, he showed gratitude. Thank you, Blood Demon Emperor, for your understanding. Understood, of course I do. You are just working for the Virtual Universe Company. Business is business. There are still many things of which you have the power to decide. Blood Demon Emperor laughed loudly. Am I right? The winged old man interrupted. His Majesty Luo Feng definitely has the power to decide whether the 21 are sentenced to death or imprisoned, or innocent. It's all up to Luo Feng to decide. This old man. Luo Feng was getting anxious. Luo Feng's power sure isn't small, haha. Blood Demon Emperor smiled even wider, looking at Luo Feng. Over 100 of the undyings that had gathered there looked at Luo Feng, along with the thousands of sector lords. The pressure from being stared at by Blood Demon Emperor along with over 100 undyings and the 1,000 sector lords was terrifying. However, Luo Feng had already experienced such a scene before, back when Nine-Blade Knight's undying army came. Their pressure, which also included the raging Shihua Knight, was much worse. Looks like this is his show of strength. Luo Feng thought. Your Majesty. Dylan communicated beside, we can only stay low and bear with it. Understood. Luo Feng answered. At this time, Blood Demon Emperor laughed carefree. Luo Feng and the undyings, please come in, follow me. He passionately grabbed Luo Feng's hand and headed into Blood Demon Palace. Luo Feng was taken aback, but he could only obediently follow him in. Dylan and the winged old man followed along with the vast army of Undyings and Sector Lords. Lord. Many absolutely beautiful lady maids were kneeling within the palace throughout. Come, Luo Feng, what do you think of my palace? The main body of this palace is an ancient one that I found damaged in a universe secret region a long time ago. I had it renovated and now it's become the Blood Demon Palace. He pointed about, just the repairs and renovation cost me over 10 million mixed elements. Even though Luo Feng could feel a special energy from the palace, he wasn't able to make sense of what it was. He could only smile along. It's really out of the ordinary. Indeed. The old winged Undying pointed about and said, the palace itself is a fortress. After the renovation and fusion with a metal life form, in terms of defense and battle ability, it's even stronger than those F9 grade ships. Haha, Blood Demon Emperor laughed loudly. Guards! Blood Demon Emperor suddenly shouted. Immediately, 3 Undyings from the army behind rushed up front. Go, bring the guilty 21 here. Blood Demon Emperor roared. Yes. The 3 Undyings complied respectfully. This scene actually shocked Luo Feng. They had just entered the palace. Wouldn't bringing the 21 here immediately change the whole atmosphere? Luo Feng, I really respect your teacher, True Yang Emperor. It's a pity that over the many years, he's always been in Primal Chaos City and never left. Hence, I've never had the chance to have a taste of his unmatched talent. It truly fills me with regret. Blood Demon Emperor sighed. You are his disciple and my junior. Sentencing these 21 is a small matter. We can talk about it later. Since you are here for the first time, I've prepared a ceremony for you. Come, follow me. He led the way. Luo Feng could do nothing but follow. After a while, they entered a large hall. The army of Undyings and Sector Lords stayed in the reception area outside while Blood Demon Emperor, Luo Feng, Dylan and the winged old man along with 2 others entered the exquisite small hall. An exquisite jade blue stone table was already prepared there along with well-carved chairs. The 6 of them sat down. Bring the dishes. Blood Demon Emperor ordered. Immediately, absolute beautiful ladies carried the dishes out. They were all fine delicacies, and there were many plates of them. There was also fine wine and many other desserts. This is the Demon Clan Soul Dragon's liver. The winged old man was shocked. This is the Flame Snow Soul Juice. Everybody around the table looked on with shock at the many delicacies that were coming out. There were many fine dishes on Earth, however with the vast and mysterious universe and the immeasurable food items, there was much more around. Luo Feng was already used to fine delicacies from the virtual universe. With 100% simulation, the price was still much cheaper. However, it was after all still just the virtual universe. The feeling within was still different. As for the dishes before them, even in the virtual universe, they would still be extremely expensive. This table of dishes alone should hit up to 10 million mixed elements. The winged old man looked at Blood Demon Emperor. You've really spent quite a bit here. Haha, as long as you enjoy the food. The moment I met Luo Feng I was filled with joy. This little bit means nothing. Blood Demon Emperor said carefree. Dylan and Luo Feng exchanged glances. This bit, how much was it worth? What a joke. 10 million mixed elements was quite a bit, even for an Emperor-level Undying that has accumulated wealth over extremely long periods of time. Even normal Undying's wealth usually only hit up to 10,000 mixed elements. The 2 Undyings captured to be sentenced, in terms of worth, they probably didn't even hit 100,000 mixed elements. Why did Blood Demon Emperor spend so much? Just for the 2 Undyings? No. Those 2 Undyings weren't worth this much, it was all for reputation and face. The virtual universe company had after all forced him to capture his 21 underlings. This had indeed enraged him, and he didn't want to let down the Undyings under him, hence he had to find a way to protect their lives. Spending 10 million mixed elements. To an Emperor-level pinnacle warrior, he didn't care. To him, with his high and mighty position, even if he had to lower himself to treat this little punk well, spending 10 million mixed elements on incredibly luxurious delicacies, if we was willing to do so much, would Luo Feng be in a good position to sentence the 21 heavily? The action was simply, yet it was very effective. Luo Feng looked at the many luxurious delicacies on the table, not daring to eat. The mouth that has been fed by others is soft, the hand that has received doesn't reach. Luo Feng thought, for Blood Demon Emperor to lower himself for me, if I eat any of these delicacies, how will I be in a good position to sentence his underlings heavily later? Come, try the Soul Dragon's liver. It's an absolute delicacy, it will make your entire soul feel comfortable as you eat it. When I knew you were coming, Luo Feng, I had this sent over via God Country teleportation, it is definitely extremely fresh. Blood Demon Emperor said. Luo Feng and Dylan both didn't eat. The winged old man and the other 2 however ate to their heart's content. Good food, delicious. The old man exclaimed. I really have to thank you Luo Feng this time. Otherwise, if it was just me, even with my entire fortune it wouldn't be enough to afford the items in this table. The two normal undyings that followed along both nodded too, complimenting the food. These three. Luo Feng was angry. They were purely here to make a mess of things. Try it. Blood Demon Emperor looked on with anticipation at Luo Feng. Under his gaze, how could Luo Feng not eat? He picked up his chopsticks and began to eat before shaking his head. Please forgive me, Blood Demon Emperor, I cannot eat now, since the mission from the Virtual Universe Company is still on my mind. Tim, I shall not force you then. Blood Demon Emperor laughed. At this time, a ruckus occurred from the reception area and Blood Demon Emperor frowned and shouted, "Open the doors." Yes. The maid beside immediately went to open the doors. Even though Luo Feng and the others were seated around the table, they could still see the scene of protest outside in the reception hall. 21 chained-up warriors knelt outside and 2 of them especially had powerful auras. Their chains were different too, with complex engravings on them. Obviously it was some kind of seal. Killing undyings was a very hard thing to do. Sealing was much easier. Defeating them was easier than sealing, however it was obvious that these 2 undyings were sealed up specially. Lord. The 2 chained-up undyings knelt down. Beside them were the 19 sector lords who knelt down as well. Me. Blood Demon Emperor slammed the tablet before him, shouting, "It's too late to regret now. Lord, we've wronged. We are extremely regretful now, please give us a chance." The 2 undyings protested, but obviously they also knew that they only had 1 life, plus it was begging Blood Demon Emperor. Naturally they didn't care too much about their face anymore. They were clear this was a true predicament. After all, it was the order of the Virtual Universe Company. If they weren't careful, they could be instantly killed. Give you a chance. Blood Demon Emperor stood up fiercely and roared. If you knew this was coming, why did you do such things then? What's more, your fates aren't in my hands today, but in Luo Feng's from the Virtual Universe Company. If you want to beg, beg him. Your Majesty Luo Feng. Lord Luo Feng. The 2 undyings knelt there and begged. The 19 sector lords beside had pained expressions, however they didn't say a word. Luo Feng immediately guessed, the sector lords probably don't mean anything to Blood Demon Emperor. These 19 sector lords have been controlled to not say anything. It's obvious that he really wants to save the 2 undyings this time. As for the 19 sector lords, they are at my disposal. The 2 undyings that had death facing them begged earnestly. You too. Blood Demon Emperor walked from his seat to the reception hall, standing before the 2 undyings. He sighed softly and gently slapped their shoulders. Abdullah, Yisuo, you 2 have followed me for so long, I don't wish for you to die too. However, I have no say in this, it'll depend on your fates. After which he shook his head and walked back. Luo Feng. Blood Demon Emperor sighed, these 2 have been with me for over 10,000 eras, I'd be lying if I said they didn't mean anything to me. However, you have to pass the judgment. I hope that you can follow the orders of the Virtual Universe Company and still give them a chance to survive. They are after all 2 undyings, as every single undying is a treasure to the human race. Producing even 1 undying isn't an easy task at all. Within the hall and reception room, all of them had gone silent. Only Blood Demon Emperor was speaking and acting. Seeing this scene, how could Luo Feng not be clear of his intentions? He had basically laid everything bare. Even though it didn't seem like he was forcing Luo Feng, in truth, he was telling him, show me some grace and let the 2 undyings go. But, the other 19 are at your disposal. Luo Feng, go judge the 21 of them. Blood Demon Emperor said and sat beside him in a chair. Yes, Blood Demon Emperor. Luo Feng complied respectfully and turned to face the kneeling 21. Luo Feng's gaze landed on the 21 of them kneeling there, his eyes had a sense of rage. Guilty. These 21 should all die. These 21 that had been pointed out by the Virtual Universe Company, they had long passed the limit set by the 5 Leviathans of humanity, and these were all that could be found. The hidden things they did would be even more terrifying. Ao Kufei. Luo Feng shouted, his voice resounded throughout the hall, echoing over. A messy gold-haired brute looked up as he knelt there, his eyes begging as he looked at Luo Feng, not daring to say anything. Luo Feng's eyes however gleamed coldly, begging at this time? Afraid. To make over 10 billion young women die in the blood demon trial, even as they begged. As for the blood sea that resulted from that, how could he beg when his caused countless lives to die even as they begged? I sentence you. Luo Feng said coldly, to death. Ah. He struggled hard as he opened his mouth to shout, but he could barely make a sound, not able to even say a word. Rumble. The winged old man who sat at the tablet instantly rushed into the reception hall. As he stood before the 21 of them who were kneeling, he waved his hand and his condensed undying energy landed on the despair-filled Ao Kufei. He was instantly reduced to a bloody mess. Large amounts of items randomly scattered throughout the ground, his internal world had crumbled, leaving behind all his items. Ao Kufei, dead. The Virtual Universe Company has ordered. The winged old man smiled and looked at the group of angry Undyings and the over 1,000 sector lords. The moment His Majesty Luo Feng sentences any of the 21 to death, I will personally execute it. Over 100 Undyings and over 1,000 sector lords all shuddered at the words from the member of the Virtual Universe Company. Even though they were bitter within, they didn't dare say anything. Temph, don't disrupt Luo Feng's judgment. Blood Demon Emperor sat steadily in his chair and roared. Their judgments are all given by him, whether they die or live, only he can make the decision. No one else is to interfere. Yes. Over 1,000 warriors complied. Luo Feng, go on. Blood Demon Emperor shot a glance at him. His glance was somewhat cold. Even though he may say he didn't care about the other 19, if Luo Feng could allow any of the 19 to live, he would still be happy. However, he didn't expect Luo Feng to sentence the very first person to death. Naturally, he wouldn't be happy about it. Next. Luo Feng's gaze moved on to another sector lord, Kusai Chi. The skinny man with fur all over his face shook, looking at Luo Feng as he begged. I sentence you. Luo Feng said coldly, to death. Rumble. The sector lord Kusai Chi was filled with despair. The winged old man who showed beside him gave him a slap and he was reduced to a mess, as large amount of items flew out. Death. 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 Sentencing one after another. Slapping the despair-filled sector lords, large amount of their items filled the reception hall. Some even with universe ships and all, it had become a small mountain within. Silence and pressure. The entire atmosphere was tense. Luo Feng had continuously sentenced the 19 to death. It made the over 100 Undyings and over 1,000 sector lords all burn with rage. Even Blood Demon Emperor, the aura he emitted had steadily grown stronger. However, he still controlled it, as he had only lost the sector lords so far. This Luo Feng sure is vicious, that's fine, killing the 19 is fine. As for Abdullah and Yi Suo, I doubt you have the guts to kill the two of them. Blood Demon Emperor stared silently at Luo Feng. Only two more were left kneeling. These two were the two Undyings, Yi Suo and Abdullah. Yi Suo. Luo Feng's gaze landed on the Undying, his eyes gleaming with ferocity. After viewing the information about the two Undyings, Luo Feng felt that the two of them had already thought of themselves as true gods, placing themselves far above countless others. They massacred humans and stepped on them for fun, they didn't even treat them as lives. High and mighty, they treated other humans as ants, almost like they were from another race. I sentence you. Luo Feng's voice was steady, to death. No. Yi Suo looked up fiercely, his eyes were filled with madness. Rumble. After which he became a beam of light and rushed at Luo Feng, roaring, you don't have the right to kill me, looking for death. The winged old man's expression changed. Even though Yi Suo was chained up and couldn't use his undying energy, just his physical undying strength was enough to kill a sector lord. Anxiously, the old man rushed ahead to block Luo Feng. Rumble. A blood-colored palm extended out of midair and landed on Yi Suo. Rumble. He was instantly reduced to powder. He hadn't reached the level of undying body yet, the strike alone had completely decimated all remnants of his soul. His soul was gone, and he couldn't revive anymore. Silence, the entire hall was silent, everyone looked on in fear at Blood Demon Emperor. Even Luo Feng looked at him with shock, that attack earlier was from the powerful Blood Demon Emperor. Impudence. His blood thirst boiled as he roared. To dare make a move on a member sent by the Virtual Universe Company, he deserved to die. Luo Feng, carry on with your judgment of Abdullah, I believe. You will definitely make a fair judgment. Fair, the word was heavy. Abdullah. Luo Feng turned to Abdullah. Your Majesty Luo Feng. Abdullah looked at him. Everyone in the hall looked at Luo Feng. The aura Blood Demon Emperor emanated too was heavier than before, as the atmosphere was extremely tense. I sentence you. Luo Feng's voice was as firm as ever, to death. Ah. Abdullah immediately roared. Kai. The winged old man was already prepared with a huge arc blade, it instantly slashed past Abdullah and the countless wind energy instantly sliced him into 10,000 parts. The undying energy infused within wreaked havoc and reduced him to powder, and his soul was destroyed as well. The winged old man wielded his huge arc blade and smiled at Luo Feng. No one else there could even force a smile, especially the over 100 Undyings and over 1,000 sector lords that gritted their teeth and raged. As for Blood Demon Emperor, he sat there and didn't move at all. His rage, however, had filled the entire hall. Rumble. He slammed his palm on the table fiercely. All the luxurious delicacies along with the table itself was reduced to powder. Luo Feng. Blood Demon Emperor stared coldly at Luo Feng. Luo Feng could feel his cold gaze staring hard at him. Your judgment was very, very fair. He smiled coldly. Since you've completed your mission, I won't make you stay. Blood Demon Emperor. Luo Feng bowed very respectfully. This was a test from the Virtual Universe Company and has huge implications on my future. I hope you can understand. The Blood Demon Emperor snorted coldly and became a blood-colored blur, vanishing from sight. He didn't wish to even see Luo Feng at all. If Luo Feng wasn't representing the Virtual Universe Company, he probably would have immediately killed him. Your Majesty's judgment was indeed very fair. The winged old man smiled. Now that the third mission is over, my job is done, I'll take my leave. Dylan, let's go. Luo Feng said directly. Yes. Dylan replied. Su. The two of them became beams of light and instantly rushed out of Blood Demon Palace, piercing through the atmosphere and taking the Yunmo planet ship through universe travel, swiftly leaving. Bastard. He should die. Blood Demon Emperor roared. He was enraged. Even though Luo Feng had explained himself at the end, it was not enough to quell Blood Demon Emperor's rage. What level of position was he at? If he went under any of the knights, he would instantly become their number one emperor level undying. That level of power was indeed enough to dominate many universe countries, yet he lowered himself to welcome Luo Feng with such hospitality, making such an extravagant banquet, yet the outcome was still the same? This Luo Feng, he thinks he's some big shot. I showed him respect and he actually humiliated me. He gripped his fists tight, his bones were cracking within. The Yunmo planet ship flew through the dark universe, within the control room. You can still smile. Dylan couldn't help but say, that Blood Demon Emperor treated you with such hospitality and even made a banquet, yet you still sentenced all 21 to death. This is a blatant slap to the face. Barbata's voice resounded within the control room. And you can still smile. Dylan looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng smiled and stood there. What's the point in regretting things that have been done? Heart like a mirror, seeing through things clearly. When he saw the third mission earlier, he was indeed speechless. The Virtual Universe Company was indeed forcing him to humiliate Blood Demon Emperor and completely enrage him. Against an enraged Blood Demon Emperor, they made Luo Feng go and carry out the sentences. How dangerous was this mission? After careful consideration, he solved the problem and immediately decided to sentence all 21 of them to death. All of Blood Demon Emperor's actions, along with his extravagant banquet, couldn't influence him at all. One must be flexible. However, if one always compromises, then he becomes a coward. Hence, if one truly cannot compromise, he has to stand firm and be unwavering. Luo Feng was very clear about this. Bending over too much will make one a hunchback. A man should know when to be flexible. Even Han Xin had suffered humiliation before. However, if he had compromised every single time, would he still have become a hero? If Luo Feng had faced death earlier, he might have compromised. However, it was clear Blood Demon Emperor didn't dare make a move on him. And after the highest point mission was over, Luo Feng would enter the Primal Chaos City to train. The next time he came out, his strength would have undergone a huge transformation. When that time came, using the soldier armor and other methods, he believed he could deal with the dangers. He's just a Blood Demon Emperor. If I don't even have the guts to face such danger, what right would I have to become an absolute warrior? Luo Feng thought. Flexible. When to bear with things, and when to reveal one's fangs. This involved every problem one would face. Those that were able to do well in these, would naturally have great achievement. Dylan saw that Luo Feng didn't even seem nervous about it. He couldn't help but say, "Little uncle." Chem. Luo Feng was stunned. Dylan usually called him Your Majesty. Why did he change now? There are many hidden dangers in the path to becoming strong. You cannot get careless. Dylan said nervously, I'm here on orders from the Grandmaster to protect you. Even if we meet any true dangers, I can swiftly call my teacher Bloodthirst Emperor over. However, this is only during your Domain Lord stage. When you reach Sector Lord level and go explore the more dangerous areas, you'll experience far crazier levels of danger. And the guard team cannot be there to protect you anymore. When that time comes where there is no one to protect you, characters like Blood Demon Emperor may arrange for assassination attempts on you. People may not even know how you die. I understand. Luo Feng nodded. If you knew that, how could you still offend him like that? Dylan said. Dylan, although I understand it, it's too late now. All right. Luo Feng said. Dylan couldn't help but shake his head. Luo Feng was grateful for Dylan's concern. However, Dylan couldn't possibly know about his trump cards. When he reaches Sector Lord Pinnacle, he would immediately have 50 million mixed elements. With that huge amount, he would definitely buy valuable treasures. Like training deities of the world. Or evolving the Cloud Contact Vine to Undying. Anyway, he already had a rough idea of how to strengthen himself. Along with his clones, he naturally had his own ways of making sure he wouldn't die. His strength may not be enough to withstand those beings, but he could still improve his survival rate. Luo Feng, there's mail. Barbata's voice resounded in his mind. It should be the mission completion rate. Luo Feng muttered and immediately sent a thread of consciousness into the Virtual Universe network. Virtual Universe Yu Xiong Mountain Primal Region, Luo Feng's villa. Within the study. Luo Feng sat at his desk and gently tapped open the mail, and while looking at the subject title, he realized that it was the third level's mission completion status. The details were: you've already completed the highest point mission's third level. Through the judgment of the members, Luo Feng, your completion rate of this third level is 100%. You'll get 300,000 points and the right to go on to the fourth level. Seeing those words, Luo Feng and Barbata were stunned. 100% completion? It actually reached that level. It was absurd. It represented that the upper echelon members that judged his mission on Blood Demon Planet to be completely satisfactory from start to end. This made Luo Feng suspicious. He had already guessed that his completion rate would be high, but 100% was extreme, after which he looked at the comments. Evaluation. Bloodthirst Emperor lowered himself to welcome you and prepared a huge banquet for you. Even with all these formless pressures along with his status and reputation, Luo Feng, you actually still dealt the death sentence to all 21. It is commendable. You maintained your sense of self, despite all the threats and pressure. You are indeed strong and sturdy. Well done. We hope you can carry on this way. Seeing those words, Luo Feng laughed. What does it mean? Barbata shouted, his voice piercing. The evaluation says it's very satisfied with you. Why is it so? Because I was unwilling to compromise and completed the mission perfectly. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed brightly as he laughed. I completely understand now. What do you understand? Barbata asked curiously. You know very little about human character. Luo Feng shook his head. On Earth, Luo Feng was considered the upper echelon too, hence it was easy for him to consider things from that angle. What did the virtual universe company's upper echelon need? They needed assistance. Even with the Emperor-level Undyings, they were still only considered as helpers of the Knights. After that, when they become the Great Knights themselves, there would still be even greater beings above these Knights, beings like the Primal Chaos City Leader etc. In summary, the true bosses, the upper echelon people. As for those below, they were simply there to execute orders. If I were to nurture a genius, it would not be bad if he became an Emperor-level Undying. As for becoming a Knight, the chances are extremely low, hence this mission is actually for them to pick their assistants in the future. Luo Feng muttered. If I were the upper echelon members, I'd naturally hope for my underlings to stay strong and finish the mission. If they were to back down in the face of danger or compromise when there's trouble, the missions wouldn't be able to complete fully. These sort of underlings naturally wouldn't do. Strong and firm? To the upper echelon, they definitely wish for their underlings to be strong and firm, acting like a loyal dog to them. Luo Feng smiled. It was like the statesmen and generals of ancient China. They were all incredibly loyal and were even willing to die rather than to give in. These were the underlings the upper echelon would like. Talent, loyalty, and firmness. These were good underlings. In truth, it was hard to find such people. Most absolute geniuses had themselves as the core. They judged the hour and sized up each situation, backing down at danger and would usually submit in the face of danger. However, these naturally went against the mission requests. Hence the judgment of this level was especially easy. If Luo Feng had spared the two Undyings, the mission completion rate would definitely be lower than 80% in the evaluation. It would have stated that he was too protective of himself, a coward and was unable to take huge responsibility. If Luo Feng had only killed one Undying and heavily punishing the other, he would have barely passed 80%. But Luo Feng's actions naturally resulted in 100%. Luo Feng was very firm and decisive, bold and dedicated to progress. Even in the face of danger he hardly ever backed down, unless it was truly something he couldn't handle. Luo Feng, look at the fourth level. Barbata shouted, there's another mail. Chem. Luo Feng laughed and opened the mail. The highest point mission has 4 levels, each getting more vicious than the other. The third was already vicious enough. Who knows what the fourth level will be? The first level gave 100,000 points. The second had 200,000 points. The third was 300,000 points. The 40H, even though it seemed like it was just 400,000 points, in truth, it was probably the most critical to the extra reward that came after, that being 1 million points. Hence the importance of the fourth level was huge. DI. Luo Feng gently tapped open the mail. Fourth level, it is the final level of the highest point mission. It is also the most crucial for the extra reward. We hope, Luo Feng, that you will carry it out carefully. Mission background. Ever since Luo Feng rose up and became a supervisor envoy of the Ganwu department, his family's position has been getting stronger. As his bloodline members range in the hundreds of thousands, including the many daughter-in-laws and so on, his members exceed over 1 million. Even though they have their family rules, however, it's not realistic for the family to have complete supervision over the later generations that are scattered throughout the universe. Hence, naturally there will be vermin within the family. Mission details. Luo family's 21 members have been recognized as guilty. Luo Feng, you will now sentence these 21. You can choose death, jail for 100 years, jail for 10,000 years or innocent. If you choose death, You will have to execute them personally. These 21 are. Luo Feng's face was ashen as he read. He continued to look through the list. Luo Fuxin, Luo Feng's 15th generation grandson, he used Luo family's influence to do energy business. When he meets a competitor, he either assassinates them or sabotages them, and he had also once completely massacred a family of thousands. Since Luo Feng is the supervisor envoy of the Ganwu Universe Department, the many departments don't dare investigate. Luo Yu Chen, Luo Feng's 9th generation grandson. Luo Yu Rong, Luo Feng's 9th generation grandson. Luo Fang Qiong, Luo Feng's 12th generation grandson. Luo Hongguo, Luo Feng's father. Luo Feng began reading this mail while sitting there. As he read, he slowly got up, his face growing more ashen, especially after seeing the 21 names on the list. His gaze went manic. That last name, Luo Hongguo, made him slam the table violently. Rumble. The table exploded and the laptop split apart. Damn. Luo Feng's expression was frenzied as he cursed. 21. Luo Feng's expression was ugly, and he laughed softly at the same time. Vicious. I just punished 21 in Blood Demon Planet. Now they give me this 4th level, making me sentence another 21 of them. Even though all of them are mostly my later generation grandsons, the final one is still my father. Implausible. Seriously implausible. Luo Feng gritted his teeth. I do admit there are some amongst the 21 that deserve death, but my father, he does nothing but play virtual games the whole day, for you all to actually deem him guilty. The family was huge, including the women. It hit over 1 million. With such a large family, it was certain that there would be some vermin within, but for Luo Hongguo to be placed in the list, it made Luo Feng rage. Who was that? That was his father. The father that nurtured him. How could he forget that back then, when they were in the rental house, his father had worked hard to feed the family? According to the virtual universe's investigative results that were found, even if he was dragged to a court, the punishment of death sentence would be too severe. He would be jailed for at least 10,000 years, etc. However, Luo Feng was very clear about his father's personality. It was obvious his father had unknowingly been used by others. Actually, with the virtual universe company's investigative abilities, it could easily find the real reason. However, they purposely chose not to do so, or they decided not to provide extra information. This way. With 21 names on the list, each with different positions and different limits of crimes. Like an emperor-level undying, even if he massacred over 10 planets and over 100 billion lives, he wouldn't be guilty. However, for normal people, within the confines of the law, even if they killed one universe citizen, he could be sentenced to death. Father. Luo Feng gripped his fists tightly. What are you prepared to do, Luo Feng? Barbata muttered on his shoulder. You sentenced all 21 members on Blood Demon Planet to death before. But now, the virtual universe company has sent another 21 of them, yet all of them are from your family. Damn, look, these 21 all have the Luo name. It's definitely intentional and was created to make your life difficult. And then your father's name is there as well. How will you sentence them? This video will end here.